Hi everybody, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. It's Doug. I'm about to start live from the back seat number 4. I feel like it should have some sort of silly subtitle like "This Time It's Personal." I'm just about to seed the generosity hat here. So yeah, if you feel like throwing any money my way, directly into the hat, or this here, paypal.me/live from the back seat. I would really appreciate it. It's been a tough few months. I am not alone in this, but no, every gig I have or had for 2020 has been canceled. I have a favor to ask of y'all. Before I start doing anything else, if someone can just please drop me a line that says, "Yes, Doug, we can hear you, we can see you," whether you want to or not, that's a whole other issue. But yeah, if you can just send me a quick message, I'll see it on this here screen. So yeah, I mean, that was the begging portion of this portion of the evening. For those of you who haven't joined me for one of these before, why am I in the back seat? Well, it's a long story. Where I am currently living is what we call an internet desert. We have no source of internet and we have very poor cell phone service. So even when you tether your cell phone into a hotspot and use that to connect to the internet, it drops it all the time. I couldn't possibly do a live stream from home. So thought why don't I do it in the back seat of the car? And here I am, and here you are, I hope. So I'm going to I still haven't heard from anybody whether they can hear me or not. I'm hoping that means, well, I don't know what that could possibly mean. Does it mean this thing is stuck? You know, it'd be ironic if I'm just sitting here in the back seat of a car and talking to myself for the next half hour. Anyway, go live with Jim Selman. Bring them on camera. Sounds great, sounds great. Jimmy just told me he can hear me, so now we are moving on to the point and purpose of the evening. So, yeah. The first thing I'd like to do, this is an original song. Everything you're going to hear tonight is original, I'm afraid. This is one I debuted here a couple of months ago, and I like it, and I'm going to do it again. This is the first song I ever wrote in French. This is kind of an environmentalist sort of thing. This is called Nous. Y'a pas de moi, y'a pas de toi, y'a pas de gauche, y'a pas de droite, y'a pas de chasse, y'a pas de proie, c'est seulement nous. Y'a pas de paix, y'a pas de guerre, y'a pas de ciel, y'a pas d'enfer, y'a pas de père, y'a pas de mère, c'est seulement nous qui pouvons faire n'importe quoi, protégerons la terre, la mer, nous n'avons pas d'autre choix, vivons en paix, cessons de détruire, de salir, d'user, de nuire, qui nous sauvera de nous-mêmes, c'est seulement nous. Y'a pas de païen, y'a pas de pieux, y'a pas de jeunes, y'a pas de vieux, y'a pas les autres, y'a pas de eux, c'est seulement nous. Y'a pas de fou, y'a pas de sage, pas de faiblesse, pas de courage, y'a pas de sauvage, y'a pas de cage, c'est seulement nous qui pouvons faire n'importe quoi, protégerons la terre, la mer, nous n'avons pas d'autre choix, vivons en paix, cessons de détruire, de salir, de nuire comme des vampires, qui nous sauvera de nous-mêmes, c'est seulement nous. C'est seulement nous. C'est seulement nous. C'est seulement nous. Thank you, thank you. Merci bien Pour mes amis francophones, bonne soirée à toutes et à tous. En fait, j'ai un grand service à vous demander. Je commence à perdre la langue française. C'est très difficile à maintenir la langue en train de cette isolation. Et j'ai fait mon mieux. Je lis toujours en français. Je fais des mots croisés chaque jour. Mais ce n'est pas assez. Et alors, je vous en prie, écris-moi de temps en temps sur Facebook, sur Messager. C'est simplement pour maintenir la langue. Il n'y a rien que causer, bavarder avec les amis, en préférence avec un grand verre de quelque chose de délicieux. Mais non, et si je peux vous implorer, écris-moi de temps en temps. Okay. Anyway, back to the English portion of the evening. So, this is a poem. It's a little over a year old. And I actually did write this on the train on the way down to New York in February of 2019. I was going down for an audition. Didn't exactly want to tell them that. You know, it's not like they can keep you out over that. But, you know, yeah, anyway. This was about my experience in transit. This is called Customs. A transitory place. Wait here until Mr. Schrödinger calls you. All the seats face the same direction, the same blank wall, like a theater without a stage. How can I prove that I'm myself? I don't know. To whom would I have to prove it? See, I'm one of the few people who would still insist on whom. Doesn't that prove that I'm me? What accent is that? I don't have an accent, I just enunciate. And as he's looking through my stuff, he sees the stack of books. You're only going down for 5 days, and you've got 6 books with you? His gaze narrows. And what language is this in? Oh, that's French. You see, 3 of the books are poetry, one of which is in French. These 2 are non-fiction, one of which is in French. This English one I finished in Hamilton, though the train doesn't stop there. He's looking at me like I'm trying to take the piss. Maybe I should stop talking, but that's not in my nature. I'm thinking of the Venn diagram of book characteristics. French, fiction, non-fiction, prose, poetry, anthology. And as I look briefly at the abstract painting of overlapping circles behind his head, I can't stop myself. And you see, these 2 are library books. Even if you don't trust me on the return ticket, and frankly, who would trust a self-employed artist, you can see I have to come back to Toronto to return my library books. He looks me square in the eye. That's the most Canadian thing I've heard all week. He sighs and stamps my passport. I go from limbo to cargo. Thank you. So, now, we come to an interesting portion of the evening. I mean, they're all interesting portions of the evening, aren't they? One of the things I said I was going to do when I started doing the debut a new song every time I do one. And considering they're the 3rd Friday of every month, so the next one, should anybody be interested in marking their calendars, is supposed to be August 21st. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of based on my friend and mentor, Jessica Stewart. She does 2 residencies, one at the Transact Club, one at the B-Side Lounge. And so every other Thursday, she has a gig where she premieres a brand new song. And I absolutely love that. So I've kind of taken that one on. Now, I don't write as quickly, I don't write as fluently, frankly I don't write as well as Jessica Stewart, but I love that, I love the artificial deadline that forces you to have to think creatively no matter what else is going on. So, for this month, I actually had 2 songs. And the frustrating thing was, for one of them, I had the lyrics, but I didn't have the tune, I didn't have the music. And for the other one, I had the music, but I didn't have the lyrics. And if things had worked out differently, you know, I might be premiering 2 different songs this evening. That is not really a possibility. That's just that. I mean, there's pushing yourself, and there's just absolute hubris, and so I decided not to go for that. But this one's a little, how shall I say, a little fresher, a little less settled than it otherwise would have been, because it and another song were kind of fighting each other for, you know, who is going to get to be the premiere. So just as that last poem was based on a real life experience, this song is based on real life experiences, but it's not strictly true. Like, this didn't happen this way. It happened kind of like this, but it didn't quite happen this way. Anyway, no more messing about. I have no choice but to jump into this song. You may notice I've got a cheat sheet in front of me, just in case. So here we go. This is a song I just wrote called The Best Day of My Life. Lost my earring on the subway, spilled hot coffee on my lap, caught my suit in the office door, heard it rip, and as I swore, 13 of my colleagues start to clap. Did my monthly change of passwords, didn't notice I had caps lock on. Spent the day from 10 till 3, trapped with Jerry from IT. Couldn't do a thing till he was gone. That was the best day of my life, 'cause that was the day I met my wife. I saw on the streetcar standing there, saw her smile, her eyes, her hair. I knew that day would change my life. I saw the toner on her jacket, a broken pencil behind her ear. I thought she'd had a day like mine, I thought she'd like a glass of wine, so I walked right up and spoke despite my fear. And I said, do you know how beautiful you are? Would you like to be shown? Say the word, you can be my shining star. Say the word, and you need never be alone. Right now we work in different cities. She's in NYC and I'm outside of Guelph. She can't come here till COVID's done. I can't go there till my green card's won. But someday soon I'll see her for myself, and that will be the second best day of my life. That day I get to see my wife. I want to see her standing there, see her smile, her eyes, her hair. I know that day will change my life. And I'll say, do you know how wonderful you are? Do you want to be shown? Say the word, you can be my shining star. Say the word, and you need never be alone. There you go. Woo! It is such a strange thing, right? Like, in many ways, this is not that much different from when I was a very young kid and I used to line up the stuffed animals on the bed and, you know, play to them. Because, you know, like I say, on the one level, I'm just sitting here in the back seat of a car getting sweaty and cooked because, you know, it's a little hot back here. Actually, pardon me a second, I'm just going to take care of that. But at the same time, this is the closest thing to performing I've got for 4 months, and it's kind of cool. And I particularly love the fact that, unusual though this style of performing is, it is performing. It's keeping me in the game, you know? It's a tricky old thing. You get into performing and the next thing you know, you're hooked on it. You can't do anything else. Well, okay, in my case, I'm too stupid to do anything else, but, you know, that's beside the point. Anyway, we have now hit the portion of the evening where I have promised to do another installment of my, I don't know what to call it, novel, book, collection of short stories thingy. It's called the Covidian Invasion. Now, for those of you who haven't caught an episode before, here's what's going on. There's a 2-person mission to Earth from an alien entity known as the Collective. And the Collective are here to research, examine, see how things are with Earth and its dominant species. And depending on how things are with Earth and its dominant species, they may take further action. Further action has not yet been specified. Unfortunately, 2 oddball things have happened. One, they arrived here just in time for the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. So nothing is typical about their impression of Earth. The other thing that's a little more drastic is it's a 2-person mission, and the commanding officer has been missing since they first teleported down to Earth. Now, the second in command is a being who is somewhat psychic and can detect the life force of his commanding officer. So he knows that she's still alive, but he has no idea where she is, and he has no idea why she cannot be in contact with him. So this is the 3rd episode. This is the personal log of the commanding officer of the 2-person mission to this planet. This is my first opportunity to make any kind of personal notes. I have determined what has happened. There was a temporal malfunction in the teleportation device, and so instead of being instantaneously transferred from the pod to the surface of the planet, what has happened is that transfer has taken almost a week of local time. There's a failsafe built into the suit, and so what that failsafe does is it automatically locks the person into a stasis field. So at first there are no signals allowed out and there are no signals allowed in. Once a certain amount of the person has begun to coalesce, signals in are allowed. This is what's been going on with me for the last several days, almost a week of local time. I'm immobile. I've physically reached a state where about 99% of my corporal form has reconstituted. Unfortunately, what has happened is the suit allows signals to come in once the person's physical integrity has reached about 95%. Unfortunately, it does absolutely nothing to filter those signals that are coming in. And so for the last, I don't know how long, I have received every wireless telephone call, every radio broadcast, every television broadcast, every internet signal that passes within a 60-mile radius of my current location. I cannot signal out, but all this information is pouring in. I understand the reasoning behind this. It doesn't want me to accidentally reveal my location while I'm in a vulnerable condition. Unfortunately, whoever designed this particular failsafe never took into account how unbelievably hard it is to reconstitute yourself and try to reconstitute your own thoughts while all these signals are coming in. I'm almost fully functional now, but even once I am functional, I think I will remain immobile and out of touch here for at least another week until I sort myself out, though I must send a signal to Ach as soon as I can to let him know at least that I'm alive, and possibly risk telling him my location. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Even this brief note in the personal log has been exhausting. And the strangest thing is, I cannot tell at present what thoughts are my own and what thoughts are external thoughts that have impinged upon me while I'm developing. I fear for the integrity of the mission. I may have turned into something that is almost like one of the inhabitants of this planet. At any rate, this is not good. Signing off and trying to recover. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually more fun to read a segment of something you're working on rather than trying to type it. I don't know. It may turn itself into an audiobook before it turns itself into any other kind of book. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen with it? Anyway, back to songs. This is the first song I ever wrote. And so, this is a bit of a guess, but I think it dates from about, oh, don't lose the tuner. I think it dates from about October of 2017. And, uh-oh, sorry. I'm going to have to keep talking while I tune Ralph up a bit. This humidity is really hard on instruments. Ouch! There, okay, that still sharp. Okay. This is also the first time Ralph has been in a standard tuning. You may be wondering why I call this instrument Ralph. It's named for Ralph Towner. For anyone who hasn't heard Ralph Towner or heard his music, he is a master of two instruments. One is the classical guitar and the other is the 12-string guitar. And especially his 12-string playing, he does things with the instrument that no one else has even remotely imagined. So I name most of my instruments for either some characteristic of the instrument itself or some person who influenced me to get that particular instrument. And yeah, in the case of the 12-string, Ralph, it's called Ralph for Ralph Towner. Even if you listen to nothing else, look up the album Sargasso Sea. It's a duet album of Ralph Towner and John Abercrombie, and it is outstanding. And what Ralph does with the 12-string, just amazing stuff. Anyway, I just want to take a sec and remind everybody, there's the generosity hat, or there's this handy-dandy address, paypal.me, live from the back seat. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overstress it, but yeah, it's tough. Doing these concerts has really been the only source of cash I've had for a few months now, and you know, one lives frugally. one buys groceries and, you know, looks at a screwdriver in Home Depot and says, oh, I've done without that for a couple of months, I can do without that for another few weeks. Anyway, yeah, any money you can chuck my way, greatly appreciated. And, you know, all musicians are kind of in the same boat right now. Even sports venues are starting to look at reopening. But music venues, it looks like it's going to be a long, long time. The Elmer Eisler Singers, the choir I'm involved with, doesn't look like we're going to be getting together to rehearse or perform anytime soon. The Celtic band I'm in, Chri, no rehearsals, no gigs scheduled. Canadian Opera Company had to cancel the Marriage of Figaro that I was to do in the fall. I totally get it, but at the same time, man, it's a tough time. It's a tough time for musicians right now. Anything you can do to help, greatly appreciated. So, yeah, I don't actually know what this song is about. I wrote it. It's kind of abstract, and yeah, I'm not sure. I'd actually be really interested. Anybody listening who's totally into the song, drop me a note and tell me what you think it's about, because I honestly don't know. Anyway, this is called So Lost Without You. You were here, you guided me through life. Now you're gone, it's hard to make my way. Eyes cast down, only see one step at a time. Cannot climb the heights where we once stood together. Fear shouts, but love whispers and is heard. Fear doubts, but love whispers and I'm reassured. Fear's proud, I'm so lost without you. Use your spirit as a lantern, your memory guides my way. Lift my eyes to what's around me, get me through from day to day. Chasing dreams is easy when you're the dream I'm chasing. Think of you as if we're still together, together. Fear shouts, fear doubts, fear's proud. Fear shouts, but love whispers and is heard. Fear shouts, but love whispers and I'm reassured. Fear doubts, I'm so lost without you. So I keep you in my heart. Can't hold you in my arms, so I hold you in my heart. Thank you. Sorry, just going to take a sec. Put Ralph in the tuning for the next song. Okay, right. So, this is a poem I wrote in the old house. So it must be, I mean, it can't be from any more recent than May of 2019, because that's when we moved out of that house. And this was written after a particularly heavy-duty storm. And the tree across the street lost a huge branch, but most of the rest of the tree was still standing. And as is usual with those sorts of things, it got me thinking environmental thoughts. And so I wrote this poem, which is called Belshazzar's Branch. The branch is large enough to span sidewalk to sidewalk. No cars damaged, no people hurt, says the cop as he rides off to another one. Strange that he said them in that order. And for the next 2 days, the fallen limb functions as an organic speed bump. At first, only the toughest 4x4s risk it, but as its branches and leaves fall apart, smaller and smaller cars drive over it, until there isn't much for the crew to shovel when the chipper shows up. The crowd drifts away, disappointed, like sans-culottes robbed of their prey for the guillotine. And the shattered trunk of this 300-year-old tree stands defiantly, its remaining branches causing the stubborn ruin to sway in the storms. The splinters surrounding the heartwood mimic a broken pencil. In the continuing winds, it scratches across the unwashed gray blackboard of the sky, making invisible marks. Mene, mene, tekel, ufarsin, it writes. Unheeded by humans, those urban Belshazzars. But the birds and butterflies repeat it. Their cries of, "Thou art weighed in the balance and found wanting," falling on deaf ears. Oops. There you go. All right, well, that clock is coming along pretty fast. This is about to be my last number. At least for this one. So, I don't even remember when I wrote this one. It's a year or two old, it's a guess. This is a piece called "The Well of Friendship," and I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much about my impression of friendship and how important it is to all of us, and how, if nothing else, we need to stay connected to each other to keep it together. Well of friendship. When your dragons and demons are winning, when everything's been heard before, words are stale and meaningless, you don't know what to say anymore. Overwhelmed by the noise and the bustle, your time is managing you. Lost in your own hustle, you know just what you need to do. Visit the well of friendship. Drink deeper what keeps you sane. Your friends have peace, hope, love to share. Forget your worries, forget your pain. Forget your worries, forget your pain. When you're tired of what you see in the mirror, when you're bored of everything that you eat, existential ennui is getting nearer. You feel you're on the edge of defeat. Visit the well of friendship. Drink deeper what keeps you sane. Friends have peace, hope, love to share. Forget your worries, forget your pain. Forget your worries and know the well is always refilling. It's a source that'll never run dry. If you can't find a friend, then be one to someone looking like they're ready to cry. Conversations with coffee or cocktails, chance meetings that never end. A listening ear to help you work out the details. are the reasons we all need friends. Visit the well of friendship. Drink deeper what keeps you sane. Your friends have peace, hope, love to share. Forget your worries, forget your pain. Visit the well of friendship. Drink deeper what keeps you sane. Your friends have peace, hope, love to share. Forget your worries, forget your pain. Forget your worries, forget your pain. Well, my dear friends, that's it for this time. I'd like to thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I want to send out my very best wishes to everybody. Love, peace, good chi. One last thing I'm going to do. You can stick around for it or not, as you wish. It's a bit of a new age kind of thing, but you know, what the hell? I'm a new age kind of guy. This is a yoga thing I invented. I call it the antenna. So what you're going to do, get yourself comfortable in your upper body. You bring your arms together like this. You bring them in close to your chest. You just give that heart chakra a little tap for a second. And then you take your arms and you spread them out in either direction as far as they will go. Further than the camera will show. Look at that. And not just your arms are spread. Check out my hand here. See how my fingers are as far apart from each other as they can. They're like that on both hands. And what I'm doing is, I'm taking all the good energy I've got in me and I'm sending it out. It's like electrical signals. They're like zapping out of my fingers and they're going off in all directions. But at the same time, I'm receiving good signals, good energy. I'm receiving all these responses from every being on the planet. Like every human, every dog, every cat, every squirrel, every bird, every mosquito, they're all out there. And I'm giving them good energy and I'm accepting their good energy in return. And if I were at home, I'd hold this for as long as my arms can take it, like 5 minutes at a time. But because we're closing, I'm going to close this off soon. Now, after you've felt that energy, after you've accepted that energy for a time, you start bringing your arms together and feel like your arms are like a big pair of nets and they're gathering in all that energy and they're bringing it close. And you bring your hands and you put them on your shoulders and you give all that good energy a big hug and you cherish it and you love it. And people like miles away are just going to suddenly feel good for no reason that they can quite figure out. And after you've hugged that energy for a while, then you bring your hands back and you just give a last little touch over your heart and you let it go. And I'd encourage everybody to do that as often as you can, because we're in a great state of turmoil right now. And what we need most of all is kindness, mutual respect, listening, understanding, and above all, love and be loved. Thank you for listening. I'll see you August 21st if you care to tune in then. Meanwhile, blessings on you, blessings on your lives. Be safe, be warm, be happy. And now I have to, they always do this. Where's the finish? Oh, there it is. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you next time.